Yo, welcome. It's the Eli Show, 4th of July coming up in 2 days. And man, I knew I'd have made an episode for today. Some great sports happening. U.S. men's get a big knockout stage. They're second in the World Cup history for the men's U.S. team. And I tell you what, the NBA offseason, it's not disappointing. Where's LeBron going to go? And is Boston going to be good next year? All this on the Eli Show, 4th of July edition. Well, the biggest sports news has to be U.S. winning the match against Bosnia and Hertz after a big 2-0 game last night in San Francisco. And if you didn't catch up to see it, man, we were down to 10 players, 1-0, with around 80 minutes to go. And U.S. scored a beautiful kick over the wall of defenders and into the goal to take the lead 2-0. And Bosnia, they had some good shots on goal. We were down a player because of a stupid red card we'll get to later. But, it came down to who wanted it more. And it seemed like the U.S. had a fire lit in them. So are the fans right now. They're really going crazy because we finally, on our turf, got to put in U.S. turning 250. Got a big birthday party coming up in Washington, D.C. And why not, have a 4th of July edition. And same time, the U.S. men's, they're on it right now. And the World Cup now is thriving in the USA. And I have to say this. Those European fans that have been talking about USA since 1776, since, we got away from England, they've been talking bad about us. And then finally, they're starting to say good things about America. They love our gas stations here. They love that you can take many refills as you want. They love the portion size. A lot of the people say we should move to USA. Hello, I've been saying this the whole time. About USA. Maybe because I'm biased. But, the World Cup is showing the people in North America that we, the Americans, we're truly not bad. We're not evil, as some Europeans might think, and some countries in Europe, we haven't had the best history with, but this World Cup made it even. But talk about another game, Belgium. That's who we're playing on Monday evening at 8 o'clock in Seattle, Washington. And it's going to be a tight game. And if you didn't watch the Belgium game against, I can't think of the name right now. Too many World Cup games going on. But I like the new format overall. I think the format has to be the best it's been. 32 teams in this round. Makes me feel like March Madness and makes the pressure. There's been so many games that's been on the line or in penalty kicks. And, Belgium was one of those games where it probably should have won penalty kicks. We're in the 124th minute, seconds away to go into the penalty kicks. They call a foul in the box, which means it's a penalty. And, it's a free kick. And just like a free kick, it was free. And they made it in and they ended up winning it. But they were losing 2-0. Belgium losing 2-0. They have a pretty old team overall. And, they came back, scored 2 goals in like 3 minutes. Crazy stuff. And now I'm going to face them. And early prediction right now, we're down a player, one of our good shooters. Because of the red card, he's suspended for 1 game. But I think we can still fight. We can still have that power. And I was listening to The Herd on Fox today. And, being in Seattle is one of the best cities to play soccer in for the USA. That might even give a 1-goal leg on us, Just the crowd itself gives us a big advantage over Belgium. I think Belgium, they're not going to be used to how fast we attack. We don't sit there and just pass the ball around. We attack, and that's why I like our men's soccer team this year, because we don't just sit around. We don't just pass it. We don't just rely on our goalie. We attack, and we attack good, and I think we're going to make a run. We play Belgium and then possibly play, I think, I forgot what team it's, if we beat Belgium, but I think we focus on this game, then we focus on the next. But speaking of also World Cup games, England and Atlanta, just down the road from us, and what a game they had. And, man, I think Mexico-England might be one of the best games. It will be a good game. That's on Sunday at, I believe, 8 o'clock also. And it's in it's in Mexico, so home crowd advantage. And when you think about it, the Mexico fans go crazy. They got a knockout stage win, and they shot fireworks, and over 1 million people were in the streets in Mexico. It's just crazy how much they love soccer, and now we're starting to love it too. All the soccer/football talk. Let's get on to the NBA. In the NBA, this offseason has been a little crazy with LeBron James and, announcing, he's going to a different team other than the Lakers, but we don't know which team yet. Front runners are saying Golden State. I wouldn't put my money on it quite yet. Maybe we'll get news in the next few days. But one of the other things is Boston, right? It was huge. Jaylen Brown getting traded. I'm thinking college football right now. Getting traded into with the 76ers for Paul George. Is that a fair trade? I think the 76ers have an upper leg. Here's why I agree with Boston, though. You have a team that was second in the East last year. Better in the regular season than the Knicks. But, Jaylen Brown was made NBA all-team or whatever. But, he was a ball hog, as I like to say. And he wasn't a team player. He didn't pass the ball well. Definitely had some better players on the team on the bench. And, they're still pretty good. I think if they can build off of this, and if what I'm trying to say, if Boston can focus on one player, which they are, Tatum, and you build around Tatum, you're going to have a good team next year. You're going to be one of the best in the East, and I'm going to predict this. I think they're going to win the East in the regular season. Are they going to win the East in the playoffs and make the finals? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say they're going to be really good in the regular season, but it's Boston. It reminds me of the Bills. They just, you can have a great regular season every year, but not make the championship. And Boston did get that championship under their belt, but they can do a lot more. And they're moving towards that, I think, and the management's definitely saying it. And I'll tell you what, the NBA postseason is better than the NFL postseason. Bro, it's been a while since I did, a pod like this, but I meant to say offseason. The NBA offseason has been crazy with all these trade rumors. LaMelo Ball, I'm frustrated about. Talked about it. It was, I feel like, not a good move for Charlotte to focus on Connor Knuppel. And, I think when you're focusing on a player, no offense to him, he's one of the best young players in the league, but you have LaMelo Ball, and I know he's, it can be a little crazy off the court, but he was a real chance for Charlotte to make even a run this next year, and now you traded him, and now you're looking at it and saying, now Charlotte, what are we going to do? What are you going to do for the basketball squad, and how are you going to build around them? And they're not making quite enough moves, in my own opinion, this offseason. And if you wanna, if you wanna win a championship in Charlotte, you got to make some moves, and hopefully Panthers can do that this year. But speaking of football, let's talk to college. And I think the offseason in college is a little more quiet. Most of these teams are getting it in, but in Clemson, big quarterback competition going on. Who's going to do it? My favorite, Chris Denson, but he's looking at third string right now. And, there's some contenders in that quarterback room. I don't know if this is quite true. I'm not really haven't done a lot of research on Clemson football this offseason, but he can be a running back. Chris Denson had a great game against Fern, which I watched live in Clemson, and it was great to watch. He had some good moves, some really good looks from the running perspective. Almost reminds me of a young Lamar Jackson. Just got to get that throwing down. If he can get that throwing down, he could be a great overall quarterback. Maybe make it to the NFL, but you have to get that starting job. I don't know if he's going to get it. I don't know how much work he's actually putting in to achieve that goal in getting that starting job and pushing forward to try to get that, to try the best to get week 1 start. But I have something to complain about, and I always do each week, and I'm just saying it. The MLB All-Stars got to get better. All the All-Stars got to get better. I think MLB does it a little better, but they have to get something going. I like, we need to get more international teams. I like how the NBA did it this year. I like that very much, and I think it worked well. I can't believe the U.S. won it, and the international players did not, which surprised me. Maybe they got the wrong team. But we got to make this worth absolutely something, because flag football not good enough. All these things, it should be an honor to be an all-star. It should be, an honor to be on the starting lineup of the AL or the NL. And nowadays, it's just feels like playing around and just these fun backyard games. Should be a little bit more competitive. You should be in basketball. You should be running up the court, playing defense. You're not. In MLB, they should be actually trying. Hitting a lot of home runs. But I think when we look at this nowadays, we're trying our best not to get hurt. We're trying our best to be almost like soccer players, which we shouldn't be. I think, to be honest with the sports world, we should be more aggressive. This is something. Look, I don't care if you get hurt as long as you're trying. But if you get hurt, just walking around at the All-Star game, no. But if you sprint down first base line, people say, "Oh, that's for no reason." No. It's for the game. It's for the love of the game. And, that love of the game, some people, say, "Oh, it's all about money." That's why sports nowadays is getting too much about money. LeBron James should not be paid $35 million, okay? He shouldn't be paid $35 million, right? These players shouldn't be paid $100 million contracts, right? So when the All-Stars are saying, "Oh, this is going to hurt my contract," and the contract's all about money, the All-Star game's all about money, maybe we should take money out of sports, the NIL, possibly. But, I think about this. The U.S. has made it 250 years. Yeah, change subject a little bit. U.S. has made it 250 years. All on what base? They lead the economy in the world. When something wrong happens in America, the world feels it. They're feeling it now. I think about this. What if the U.S. did not have a thriving economy? Would we still be the United States of America? Probably not. Would we have made it? Probably not. One of the main things was no taxation without proper representation. I'm sorry. Back to history class. But, that was all about money. And we saw that and we exposed it. And not going to get politics. And I think, but I tell you what, one of the things the U.S. is good at is about using the money and using it for our advantage, right? And all the trades now are for our advantage. That's why we moved things, instead of making it American made, which I think is better, right? We moved all to China for what? Money. Now, we can have these lights. We can have phones much, much cheaper. We can have these innovations, and people who have phones in their pockets don't like it. The world of money and sports go hand in hand. So should we take money out of sports? Should we not spend $2 million on Super Bowl commercials? But, that's just part of life. Without money, there's going to be a lot of fighting, a lot of wars, and there has been in the past, and there will be in the future. But this is a message to all of you Americans. This 4th of July, big birthday celebration. We have to think of the past, about what it took to get here. And I tell you what, we weren't just lucky. There's many countries around the world that's gone that has fought for wars like we have. but still we stand here today because of people who have laid their life down. Reminds me, all the principles, you probably didn't know this, but most of the principles from the Constitution all came from the forefathers' preachers from Greek and Roman history and from things. And they put things together and they said, under this ruling, you can be free. Now, it took a while to get here and we need to do a lot more. But as Americans, think about the sacrifice that it took to stand here today, to play sports, to have free speech, and to live a life that we can because the United States of America. Thank you very much. Adios. It's the Eli Show, 4th of July edition. I'm your host, Eli Tanner. Adios.